So how attractive was Herr Adolf Hitler? Welcome back to LookLogix, everyone. Today I'll be analyzing Adolf Hitler's facial attractiveness, his harmony, using faceiq labs. So I've marked his front and side profile. Fortunately, I found some pretty good photos. I think they'll do and give us a pretty accurate analysis. We'll be able to see his full scoring from 0 to 10. So really quickly, put your guess in what you think it will be. You think he's an 8, a 7, a 4, 3, a 5, whatever you think. Curious before you'll see at the end of the video, but try to put your guess in now. Just from these photos you can see. We'll go over his front and side ratios with this and then see his key strengths and weaknesses. So let's start with his front. His lowest scores are 0.51 out of 10, which is his mouth width to nose width ratio, which is not ideal. It's not even a 1 out of 10, which is really sad, really rough. Honestly, I mean, a lot of people do have this, and this is a major downside to a lot of facial attractiveness. And there are certain procedures you can do, but it's more tricky around this. So when this is the lowest score, it's definitely one of the harder ones to change and optimize. His lower third proportion is also very short at 2.11 out of 10. Pretty common for the middle third to be quite short. His ear protrusion angle is also out of the ideal range. So this can be easily fixed with an autoplasty, which is only a couple $1,000s, and it's a near permanent fix. This basically pulls the ears back so they're not as prominent. His nose tip position is a 2.27 out of 10, so that's unideal, unfortunately, for Adolf. Moving on, we have cheekbone height, 8.29 out of 10. That's pretty good, actually. So he has high set cheekbones, as you can see on his face. It's definitely a more average looking face. His ipsilateral alar angle is a 10 out of 10. His mid-face ratio is a 10 out of 10. Chin to philtrum ratio, 10 out of 10. Bitemporal width, 10 out of 10. Eyebrow low settedness is also a 10 out of 10. You can see he has definitely quite low set eyebrows. However, they can be thicker, and the width actually is really good. But they could be thicker and taller. Yeah, probably like, for anyone watching this who has thin eyebrows, you can do a lot of things like derma stamping. I wouldn't do derma rolling because that pulls the needles, but derma stamping with like a 0.5 to 1 millimeter needle. Make sure you use isopropyl alcohol, 70+ % to wash that, and then don't put any of it on your skin because that can be toxic. But you can stamp your face a couple times a month, and mainly for the hairline, but you can do this for the eyebrows, and then use some rosemary and botano oil to do it naturally to assist the hair growth. And then the most effective thing you can do, the best thing, is raw bone marrow. Rub it into the pores and the follicles, and that's definitely been the most effective that I've seen. You could do other things like minoxidil, different stuff. For his intercanthal nasal width ratio, that's also a 10 out of 10. That's pretty good. His canthal tilt, let's see where this comes in at. I think it's going to be around the middle. Yeah, lateral canthal tilt is almost a 5 out of 10. So he does have positively tilted eyes. However, depending on the photo, I mean, these actually look, he has neutral tilted eyes. His canthal is basically from this distance to this distance on his eye. So some people have negative, some people have positive. What's ideal is a more positive tilt. His interpupillary mouth width ratio is a 4.03 out of 10. And this is just comparative to the eyes to the mouth. You can see here, interpupillary as in pupil. So overall, yeah, that's his front profile. And I want to go over the more interesting scores for sure for you guys, so you can see. But by the way, if you want to try the app for yourself, I have 20% off with the code LookLogix. I'll put a comment in the description, or I'll put a link in the description and the comment section if you want to check it out. It's really useful so far. You can see on my channel I've used it a lot, and I personally use it as well to see the different plan and potential page, and also the key strengths and weaknesses, so I know how I can improve, etc. It's a pretty useful tool. Let's move over to the side ratios. The submental cervical angle is a 1.2 out of 10 for his lowest, and this is mainly because of all this subcutaneous excess fat around his neck. Now this is very easily fixed with a liposuction. So submental liposuction, different names for it, and it's quite affordable. removes excess fat around the neck, so your chin is more prominent. As you can see, there's too much fat, unnecessary fat, around his face. Overall, not a bad side profile though. Lower lip S-line position is a 2.69 on 10. Orbital vector is a 2.77. Nasal projection 3.19. Nasal width to height ratio is a 5.95. So there's some of the lower scores, and then all the rest are 10 out of 10. So he mogs this side. Honestly, this is a pretty good side profile, and we'll see what the actual score is. But the lower lip burstone line is a 9.10. That's pretty good. Okay. Interesting. So here's the front and side profiles marked down. Let's see what his actual full score is. All right. Adolf Hitler gets a 5.14 out of 10. It's a slightly above average harmony, about the top 48%, and about 1 in 2.08 people. So his front profile gets only a 4.14 out of 10. This is a lot to do with his ear protrusion angle, and then his eye area kind of baggy, and then of course his short philtrum and his short middle third. With his side, he gets a 6.88 out of 10. This is the top 4.8%. Guys, Adolf Hitler mogs most of you, okay? So at least for his side. So he also has his branch out right here with the visual score for his harmony. And by the way, this isn't counting his status, his height, his voice for sure, and other things like his style and all that can also contribute to his attractiveness. Not his dimorphism or anything. This is just his harmony for his face, not taking him in as anything else. Let's move over to his key strengths and weaknesses really quickly. And of course I put the analysis parameters as white, so light-skinned for his ethnicity, because there are different ideals with someone who's maybe dark-skinned, larger lips, different things, and then male, of course. So for his key strengths, he actually has some great pinpoints here, like his ideal ramus length, and you can see how long that is. It's definitely a long ramus. In his options, we can see pinpoint here. It's quite long comparatively to, or relatively. It's kind of hard to see with the higher amount of fat, but that can be fixed, with the submental liposuction and reducing fat and optimizing diet. His other key strengths, you can pause this if you want to see. I'm just going to scroll through them. And then his areas of improvement, long mid-face. Yeah, for sure. The middle of the face is elongated, creating an unbalanced vertical proportion. So when I mean it is shorter, it's kind of just the philtrum area, which is shorter. His long mid-face is from his brow ridge all the way to the philtrum, and that is longer for sure. So just the philtrum is what I mean. So for the rest of the scores, insufficient eye tilt, yeah, a little negative. Narrow mouth, wide set eyes, wide nose, overprojected nose, some things that are out of the ideal range. Yeah, flat eyebrows. Overall, not too bad of a face, definitely more in the average range. And that is what makes Adolf Hitler attractive, semi-attractive, semi-not attractive. That's his analysis for his harmony. If you'd like me to rate anyone else, just put a comment down below, and I will check it out. If I can find pictures of who you want me to rate. That's sometimes really difficult. But once again, if you want to use the app for yourself, 20% off with the referral code LookLogix. I'll put a link in the description and the comments. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next video.